When setting up the AutoCAD user interface to get started drawing, there are a few things that I like to start off with first. Up at the top with your drop down arrow, you need to check your workspace setting. Make sure that you are in the drafting and annotation workspace setting. If I select the down arrow, it gives me a list of 4 options: drafting and annotation, 3D basics, 3D modeling, and AutoCAD Classic. So depending on what you're trying to do with AutoCAD, each one of these workspace settings will have features of their own that will make drawing, let's say in 3D modeling, much easier for 3D drafting than it would be in AutoCAD Classic. So pick wisely in your selection here, and we are going to stay in the drafting annotation. Down in the lower right hand corner of your screen, along your status bar, you will see a gear. This gear is the exact same thing as up at the top drop down. Here you can change your workspace setting, drafting annotation, 3D basic, 3D modeling, and AutoCAD Classic as well. Moving our way back up to the top, next to this drop down, you'll see a little arrow with a line above it. We want to select this drop down arrow, and we want to show menu bar. Right now it's hidden, and we want to activate that by clicking on it. There you go. So you can see that it places that menu bar above our ribbon in a light gray title bar at the top of our screen. Next thing that we will want to do is come down here to the bottom where you see your icons for your tracking, your O-snaps, and so on and so forth. I want to right click on one of these blue ones, which means it's activated, and I want to select the use icons. Okay, what that does is it deactivates the icons and it spells out the words that we need to see in case you're not familiar with what the icons look like as far as polar and O-snap may be concerned. Once again, blue means that they are activated, gray means that they are turned off. To activate one, you simply left click on it and it will turn it blue. Notice when I clicked on ortho, it shut the polar off. You can't do both of these simultaneously. I'm going to select polar to activate the polar once again. Once I have done that, I usually hit F7 on my keyboard and I get my grid to go away on my screen. I don't necessarily have to work with a grid every time that I'm trying to draft, so I want a blank canvas to begin working with. Next thing that I like to do is take my command line down here that is docked above model and layout tabs, and I want to click and drag this, and I want to dock that command line down below those tabs. This is how AutoCAD used to default the command line. I like it because it keeps it out of my workspace and gives me a nice square workspace within the drafting program. The next thing that I'd like to do is select my application menu and go down to Drawing Utilities and change my units. The Drawing Units dialog box appears, and this is where we can change from decimal to architectural or to engineering, depending on what we're working with. You can also change the precision of the decimal place to 0.000 or to 0.002 decimal places, and I'm going to go with 3 decimal places, 0.000, to get started here, and I'm going to say OK. I could have also done this from the Format tab at the top, Format, Units, and you'll see that the same dialog box appears. So just a couple different ways that we can access our units of display. Lastly, I like to go to the Tools tab, and I like to go all the way to the bottom, second one from the bottom that says Options, and this opens your Options dialog box. I'm just going to start with the Files tab. This is for searching for paths, file names, and file locations. If you're working in a business or industry, they would have places where files are stored. This is an option that they would probably already have set up for you, so we're not going to do anything with this as we're saving everything to our H drive. The Display tab here lets you change window elements, display resolutions, a variety of different things. Here you can also change the color of your background. So if I select color here, I can go up to the upper right hand corner, and it's white right now because I've already changed it. By default it would have been black, and so it gives you a preview of what you're going to have, and I'm going to simply put this back on white and say apply and close. I also like to change the arc and circle smoothness to about 20,000. This holds circles and arcs smooth all the time without having to regenerate your screen. Open and Save tab. Here I don't do much with. I just want to point out that file safety precautions, you have an automatic save turned on, and it's defaulted to make a save every 10 minutes. So if you're forgetting to save, it's automatically doing this, creating a .bak or a backup file of your drawing. Much easier to use a manual save. Plot and Publish tabs, setting up the printer that we are printing to. Systems, I change nothing with. User Preferences. This is an important tab to me. Time is money. I like to draw as quickly as I possibly can, and the right-click customization icon here opens up a dialog box, and this will really increase my drafting speed by making it so when I right-click, I want it to repeat the last command that I'm currently in, or it will edit the mode to shortcut menu if I hit right-click, or the last thing it will do is enter if I right-click. So this reduces the amount of keystrokes that I have on my keyboard, and it also increases the speed of which I can draft. So I'm going to apply and close this. The drafting tab, you can change your auto snap settings and your auto track settings. I recommend that you leave everything set to default. If you're having a difficult time seeing your snaps and settings, please talk to me and I'll get you set up to where you can draft. 3D modeling tab, I changed nothing with. Selection, once again you can change your pick box size and your grip size. I encourage you to leave that to default. And profiles, this is the last tab that we're going to work with. I want to add a new profile to the list, and I want to call this my first name and say apply and close. You'll notice that it'll put a new profile name, and I want to select this name and set this to current. What this is doing is remembering everything that we just set up on our current user workspace settings, so that every time I log in I can work under the Eric profile and everything will stay the same. Once I've done that, I'm going to say OK, and now I am ready to begin to draw.